I'm live. Oh, wait a minute. All right. Well, let's see. Anybody in here? Brooklyn. Brooklyn SJU. Hey, there's little Dan. I wasn't sure if I had permission to raid you. Oh, open invitation. Uh, hey, little Dan. Yeah, you can always raid me. I guess you guys can hear me. I went in this vertical mode today. I just thought I'd try it. Just, I know you guys probably hate it. I wasn't sure if you had set it up. Um, you know what? No, I think it works because I know sometimes how they raid me from how. I'm just the reason I'm not for sure because I do everything from this Prism app and it's a little bit different um, than like when you do like StreamYard or whatever. I guess I don't know why my thing's not showing up here. I just want to see what it's looking like on the big TV. Are we on? Yep, there I am. Okay. Testing, testing, 1 2, test 1 2, testing, testing, 1 2 3. Yeah, there I am. I hear myself. Testing, testing, 1 2. Yep. 1 2. All right. Coming through loud and clear. So yeah, I'm in vertical mode today, just for shits and giggles tonight. I don't know. I'm at home. I didn't go to work. I was sitting around here eating grilled cheese sandwiches and listening to Liberal Dan. You know, as one does when you watch the Liberal Dan show. You cook a grilled cheese sandwich. But like Dan was saying, okay, if you put bacon on it, is it still a grilled cheese sandwich, or is it a bacon melt? I never really put much thought into it. Maybe on a restaurant menu, you might see it says bacon melt or something. I would just think though, it's just a grilled cheese with bacon. I don't know. Now, should I move the camera over? I'm kind of off centered here. Let's see. Seems like no matter what I do, it doesn't work. How far do I have to move this thing to get kind of centered? I don't know. Hey, look, you can see my shirt actually. Like when I'm in the horizontal mode, you can never see my beautiful shirts. This is the Randy Rhodes T-shirt back during COVID. Doesn't that seem weird? We're like, remember the old days of COVID? I mean, isn't it hard to believe how time flies? I mean, it's already. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it's been what about 3 years since we kind of got out of it. 2, 3. Not that I know some people say, well, COVID is still going on or whatever, but there are still COVID cases going on. But as far as the pandemic, as far as being a pandemic is concerned, I think we've been out of that for like what 3 years now already. And then looking back, Liberal Dan was playing, you know, the correspondence dinner back when Obama was president. That doesn't seem that long ago, but that's what is that? 15 years ago? Crazy, huh? Isn't it crazy? Do you guys remember? I think my favorite, and I don't really watch a lot of those or correspondence dinners. So if I say my favorite, I mean I've only maybe watched a few of them, and usually just like highlights or clips or whatever. But do you guys remember? I think my favorite One was when, what was her name? Michelle. She was like the main speaker, I guess, whatever you call it, the MC. And I guess, right? And she did her thing. Um, Michelle, what was Michelle's last name? I thought she, I thought that was brilliant. Her her routine or whatever you want to call it. Absolutely brilliant. I think that's the best one I think I've ever seen. Is Michelle, and I can't remember Michelle's last name. She was a long time, I think, a writer for. She might have been at SNL. I'm not sure, but I think she went over with Seth Meyers. I think she wrote for his show, and then she did that correspondence dinner, and then she got a her own show on Netflix because of that, because she just blew up. But unfortunately, for her, that only lasted like one season. On Netflix, I don't know if you call it's really like seasons. But it was a few episodes and then they canceled it. But because it just wasn't the same. I mean, I saw her. I still think she's funny. I watched her Netflix shows, and I still think she's funny. I think she's brilliantly funny. And I can't remember her last name. Michelle Wolf. There you go. That was Liberal Dan. Yeah, thank you, Liberal Dan. Michelle Wolf. I thought she just. I don't remember all the jokes now. Of course, the one that comes to mind is the one about what's her face, the press, the press secretary. Why am I think I'm I think I'm losing my mind too. I'm forgetting names. Huckleberry. What's her face? Uh, and she talked about the smoky the smoky whatever, and I think people misinterpreted it. Like, I forget the exact thing, but I think people thought she was making fun of her weight or something, and really it was. I think she was making fun of her makeup. But anyhow, let me try to adjust this a little bit. It feels like I feel like it's falling over or something. I don't know. Oh, now you're gonna see where the green screen goes out. So anyhow, this is really impromptu. I don't know what's going on. I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is really impromptu. This is just the last minute thing. I thought I would go vertical because I have noticed that when I do vertical, I do get some new people in here. There's a whole different kind of crowd, or there's a whole that do vertical that like do the verticals. So I thought, hey, I'll do vertical. Maybe we'll pick up a couple extra people that we don't normally see. But I do see we got some great folks in here. Brooklyn's here. Liberal Dan, thanks for popping over. Just finished his show. So thanks for coming in and saying hi. Brooklyn says dance party. Oh, maybe in the vertical mode I could do a dance party. Well, if we're gonna do a dance party, and I do see someone already did a part of the goal there. But I should, if we're gonna do a dance party, um, then we're gonna have to make that at least a 10 goal. If you want me to get my ass up out of this chair and dance, it's going to cost you 10. It's going to cost you 10 super chats, I guess. Okay, so who else we got? We got Alton Gillespie. Hey, Alton, good to see you. Jolie says Liberal Dan raid. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Liberal Dan, for raiding. Kind of. I mean, he didn't really. You didn't do the official raid, but you know what I mean. But I appreciate you guys coming over. Danny Pomeroy is here. Alton Gillespie is, I believe, from the outer loop of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, down there in Denton. I don't know. I don't mean to. I shouldn't be doxing you, but I know where you're basically from. Janelle here. Hey, Janelle, good to see you. We got not not the gate, or not 777. How often does a trucker goes home? Well, it's different for probably depends on what you're doing. There are local jobs. There are dedicated routes. So there are some jobs that get people home every night. Some people are home every weekend. For me and a lot of drivers, you're out over the road going. That means you're going cross country. We're down here in the lower 48. I'm pretty much talking about the lower 48. I'm not talking about transatlantic or trans-Alaskan highway and going to Alaska. I'm not talking about ice road truckers. I'm not talking about any of that. For me, I'm not talking about Australia or Europe. Uh, I was a driver here in the United States. This thing has fallen. Uh, Olympus Olympus has fallen. My setup has fallen here. It doesn't. I don't think my setup likes this vertical mode. But anyhow, for the lower 48, which means the continuous 48, um, when you're over the road, you're driving across country, and let's see how that does. I don't know. So you're driving across country, and you could be gone, a couple weeks. You could be gone many weeks. What I generally would do is I would go out. Um, I would go out usually 5, 6, 7 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks at a time, and then I would come home for like two nights, 3 nights, and then go back out on the road again for another 6 weeks or so. Um, so it just depends, though. But like I said, there's lots of different types of truck driving jobs. There are just local, and you're home every night, and then there are and then there's dedicated routes, and those tend to be a little shorter, and a lot of times drivers can be home every week, you know. So it just depends. Libertad says controls the vertical and the horizontal. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but yeah, I've got it in vertical right now, and I can't really. Once you start the show, I can't go back to horizontal. I would have to uh, end this one and then start up anew. Um, there was no intro. No, this was a cold opening. This was totally impromptu. I was just watching Liberal Dan, and he was ending his show, and I thought, I thought, well, maybe I'll go on. Maybe I'm just sitting here doing. I'm not doing nothing, you know. So I didn't do an intro. No intro tonight. Just completely. Oh, bless my little heart. Um, just what we call in the business a cold open. And yeah, I don't know this. Like I say, this my little camera stand thing here. It doesn't like me playing around with it, and it comes loose as a goose. It looks like hopefully it's going to stay now if I just don't touch it. Just leave it alone. I'll just leave it alone. And hey, DPD's here. Hey, good. Thank you for blessing me, and Jolie, yeah, as well. Um, Liberal Dan, I say still grilled cheese. Yeah, I guess I say grilled. I would just say grilled cheese with bacon. But maybe if you're in a restaurant and a cook might want to, maybe they have special, or they have to know what, I don't know. They have to have it called certain ways. I don't know. Um, Daddy Pomeroy says beacon grilled cheese sandwich. A beacon, like a light, or is that just a typo? Is that a typo? Brooklyn has got some sort of emojis. I can't even tell what those are. I can't tell what those emojis are. That's how bad my Glasses are, I guess. I don't know. Don O'Leary is here. Hey, Don, good to see you. Michelle Wolf, yeah, yeah, Michelle Wolf. I thought that was really funny. That was during. That had to be during Trump's first term because yeah, she was making fun of Huckleberry or whatever the hell her name is. Uh, oh, there was Damon Dog. Damon Dog, the big dog's here. Yippee! So that was okay. I didn't. I just now scrolled down to it. Thank you, Damon Dog, for that $1.99 super chat. I've never seen you vertical. Yeah, this like I said, I thought I would just try it out. Actually, I have. I guess the other day I did vertical. I was doing something vertical. Oh yeah, that was the other night when I was experimenting. Uh, but yeah, I don't do this very often. But I thought, why not? Just for shits and giggles. Alton Gillespie, except for the vertically challenged. Yeah. So how is it? Is it okay for you guys to do this vertical thing? I don't know. Some people hate it. Some people love it. You know. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'll probably never do it again. Actually, now that I think about it, I will probably never do vertical again. Although never say never. But anyhow, I'm just seeing what you got here. Big Hook is here. IB YouTubing is here. Good to see IB YouTubing. DPD, hello DPD. It's boy, it's like 11:07 back, I guess, in the East Coast, folks. There, thanks for coming on in. I am planning still on doing a regular Thursday morning show, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Um, by the way, this was just an impromptu. Just an impromptu. So there's when I sneezed. I'm just that's where I am in the chat. Is that okay? Because I see the bless yous. James Jaramillo's here. Hey James, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. James Jaramillo, grilled cheese with bacon. Yeah, that's what I would call it. Big Hook says Miracle Whip or butter. Now I made mine with I call it butter, but it's probably margarine. I don't know. I use the Country Crock. I think that's just margarine, right? That's not really that's. I don't even think that's real butter, but worked good enough. DPD says sourdough or pumpernickel. I use sourdough just now. I don't really like pumpernickel. Pumpernickel's okay, but I like sourdough a little better, or a lot better actually. Today I bought, or not today, when I my last shopping, which was yesterday, I guess. I had them bring me the Sara Lee artisanal sourdough, which is pretty good. It's a little bit on the small side though, you know, but yeah, it was good enough. That was big enough. It was big enough for a grilled cheese, but like if you're making a roast beef sandwich, you know, or sandwich or whatever, I would like the bread to be a little bit bigger, maybe. Jolie doesn't like the vertical. Brooklyn likes the vertical. Wow. So yeah, it is sort of a, you know, some do, some don't. Liberty says vertical or horizontal. I like you either way, Trucker John. Oh my, oh my. I guess you could say you're versatile. But Big Hook says the chat is directly over your face. Yeah, that's true. I can see that on my iPad. It's not that way, but on my iPhone, it is, and I'm afraid to monkey with it. I could probably move the camera back down again, but then I'm afraid the thing will start drooping. In fact, so I think we'll just have to put up with it for now. I guess I don't know. I guess I guess I caught up pretty much. DPD says, "Thank you, TJ. You're welcome." Oh, about being late, I guess. DPD says, "Yes, it is 11:07. As sit here on my deck." Oh, well, I hope it's a nice evening. You're out on the deck. It sounds like it might be a nice evening there. James Armio says, "Margarine Country Crock is." What are you, Yoda? Margarine Country Crock is. Alrighty, alrighty, Yoda. I know we were talking about May the 4th be with you when we're there in Liberal Dan. So I guess it's appropriate. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Big Hook says white bread was how I usually made it. Oh yeah, good old white bread. I guess the sourdough is white bread. It's just sourdough. But you know, Big Hook says, "Is TJ vertically challenged or more horizontally?" I don't know. I think the horizontal probably works better. Alton Gillespie says, "Country Crock is stop leak for your veins." Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. DPD says, "During COVID, my husband started baking bread." Oh, I remember that. Remember that? I didn't do that, but because I was on the road. But yeah, I remember that. People started doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they were making their bread, getting those little bread makers, and people were at home doing doing all kinds of things they had never done before. All kinds of little interesting hobbies people were taking up during COVID. Yeah. Hey, 007 Kevin, Troll Slayer. He's the one who sends those trolls on the run. We got to make a 007 Kevin Troll Slayer, spy spoof movie. That's what I'm thinking. Damon Dog, the big dog, said that I like low melt. It's like butter flavored Crisco. Wow. Yowza. I'd be YouTubing, getting serious, bringing some seriousness to the chat. Hey, John Glad's here, by the way. Glad to see John. Always glad to see John Glad. IB YouTubing says, Supreme Court weakened voting rights with their ruling today. Vote Dems down ballot. Absolutely. Vote blue all the way through. How's that? How's that instead of saying what you probably thought I was going to say? But I said vote blue all the way through. Yeah, and here's something I was thinking about today. Okay, so we had the Voting Rights Act, which I believe was codified, right, into law, wasn't it? And now the Supreme Court is tearing it apart. They've been doing this for a few years now, piece by piece, tearing it apart. But why? How can they be allowed to do this? Isn't this legislating from the bench? Isn't that what right wingers are always accusing justices of like liberal judges of legislating from the bench? Isn't that what we're doing now? Legislating from the bench? And also, but the thing about codifying, I always say codifying, but I guess it's codifying. Remember how when they overturned Roe v. Wade, and people were criticizing, I guess, Democrats in general, and saying, you had 50 years to codify it into law. You should have codified it into law, and then that way the Supreme Court couldn't overturn it. Well, that may be true. Maybe the Supreme Court wouldn't have been able to just out and out overturn it, but apparently that doesn't mean that they wouldn't spend however many years it would take to just tear it apart piece by piece, like they're doing with this VRA. It seems like no matter what, man, we're just always fucked. We're always fucked. We're always fighting these motherfuckers. We're always fighting these motherfuckers. And why? Just because they People say you shouldn't say they. Who's they? Okay, we're talking about right wingers. We're talking about Republicans. We're talking about MAGA, but even before MAGA, just right wingers in general, so-called conservatives in general. Um, they want everything their way. It's their way or the fucking highway. So fuck them. It's like abortion. You don't like abortion? Don't get a fucking abortion. Doesn't mean you have to deny other women to be able to make choices over their own bodies as to what they want to do with them, if they want to carry a pregnancy to term or not, or and whatever other health issues that might be associated with pregnancy. There are lots of decisions that sometimes need to be made. Why do these right wingers want to always get in people's business? Now I know that their argument is that it's murder. You're murdering a human life. That's their argument. So I get it. I mean, it's pretty hard. Like, if that's what you believe, then of course, I guess of course you're going to be against it. Like, right? You know what I mean? But you would think that there would be enough people in this country that would be able to distinguish, make the tell the difference between murdering a live human being that's walking around and you just murder them. That's not the same as terminating a pregnancy, of a glob of cells. So it's not the same. It's not murder, in my opinion. But in any case, it still goes back to these right wingers, this wanting everything to be their way, no compromise. I think the way Roe v. Wade was written out, it was a pretty good compromise. After a certain time, you couldn't get an abortion unless there was an extreme medical condition or something. And it's the same thing, with healthcare. That should be an easy one. Getting healthcare, getting like universal, single payer, universal healthcare, national healthcare. That should be pretty easy. We have examples, and we've got Canadians in this chat room who tell us how great their healthcare system is. We have example after example after example of how people in other countries love their national health care. They love it. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe, they've made changes, they've improved or whatever. They had to go through some growing pains. But overall, I think people in these other countries, they love their national health care. I had some people in my cab the other night who were I think they were from England, and they were like, they didn't really know how it worked here, because we saw some ambulances going by, and they said, how much would it cost? Um, how much would it cost if you got hurt and they had to take you in the hospital, over in an ambulance to the hospital? And I said, well, if you don't have insurance, it would probably cost you thousands of dollars. And they go, oh, because insurance. And I go, yeah, you got to have insurance, or else they'll charge you like probably $3,000 or $4,000 or who knows, uh, to go from the strip to the nearest hospital. And they're like, wow, that's crazy. And they go, so you got to have insurance. I go, yeah. And then they were like, well, if you're hurt, will they take you? And I go, well, yeah, they have to take you. They'll take you. If you've been injured, they're going to take you, and they'll take you to the hospital. They'll take you to the emergency ward, and they'll, patch you up or whatever. but they're going to boot you out of there as soon as they can, and they're going to send you home with a big bill for who knows how many, at that point, many thousands of dollars, And they're like, "Oh, wow, that's bad." They're like, "We're from England and we have national health care, and so we didn't know how it works here." And I go, "Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like you got to have insurance." And they go, "So do people have insurance?" Do a lot. And I said, "Well, yeah, lots of people have insurance, but I go, there's like millions and millions of people that don't have insurance, who can't afford insurance. But like I said, there's a lot of people that they get insurance. They buy private insurance. Some people get it through their work, and they can get maybe a little bit better deal, that way, but it's still expensive. It's pretty expensive. Now we have there's the exchange, the uh, healthcare exchange or whatever, and the people can buy there. But it's still pretty pricey, I think. And then I said, and then there's people like me. I go, I'm 65 now, and I go, I have Medicare now, and I told I have to. They take $200 a month for my healthcare, but so I have that. I said there's lots of people that fall through the cracks who can't afford it, because it's in many cases as many hundreds or maybe sometimes thousands of dollars a month, just for your health care. And they're like, wow. They were just like kind of like shaking their heads. They're like, wow, that's crazy. So I don't know why we can't get. I mean, why is there such a fight? I understand from lobbyists. I understand from the healthcare industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar a year industry. I understand they're going to be fighting it tooth and nails, and they've got buildings full of lawyers and lobbyists. They're going to do everything they can to prevent us from getting national health care. But I don't understand why the people are so opposed. There's so many people that are opposed to it, just because. Well, I guess that's the propaganda. That's the Fox News propaganda of national health care is socialism. We're not socialists. We're Americans. They don't even say capitalists or whatever. We're Americans. It's like America and socialism just can't go together. But it's so hard. Things like that should be easy. Healthcare should be easy. It really should. I understand there's the battle with the lobbyists. I understand that, but we should be able to beat that. Gun control. We should be able to have fucking gun control, especially when 87% of the people are in favor of, or maybe even more, are in favor of universal background checks. We should at least be able to get that. And there's a few other things. We should be able to get magazine restrictions, and all. There are certain things, age restrictions. We should be able to get those things fairly easily. But it's all these goddamn lobbyists and all this big money in government, big money in campaign financing. It just goes round and round and round. So yeah, let's vote blue all the way through. As Damon Dog, who was it that started this thing? I think about. Oh no, was it? Well, whoever it was. At least we'll have a chance. I'm not saying the Democrats are perfect and we're going to get everything we want or everything we need, but it's if we keep voting for Republicans, we'll never get anything. It'll all go to the rich. It'll all go to the top. You know. So that's why I say vote every Republican out. Every single and married one, as Mad Mac would say. John Glad says 48 is a joke, so I won't end up incarcerated. Um, okay. DPD says, TJ, this is the precise reason why voting why not voting should be illegal because so many people choose not to. It's infringing on my rights. Do you think forcing people to vote that in it, the people are going to automatically even know what they're voting for? They're going to automatically vote for Democrats or something? I mean, I know with higher turnouts we usually win. That's true. That does seem to be true. Higher turnouts, Democrats usually win. Again, I think the better way is just to make it a national holiday, make voting day a national holiday. Um, and just do it every year, even if there's not an election. Because I know we have them basically these national elections every 2 years. We got the midterms and the presidential every 2 years, but just make it every year, just as a reminder, so that if it's an off year and it's national voting holiday, still have it as a holiday. So it's just top of mind and everything. I think that's a better way to go. I don't like the idea of forcing people to vote because there's no guarantee that they're gonna vote for what you want anyhow. Big Hook says it was a 63 decision because of the Heritage Society. It's been Cook Books Court long in the making. Yeah, and with getting Trump in there, and he just goes off their list, and he might get a couple more before all is said and done. Of course, it'll be um, replacements for what conservatives already have. I don't think he's going to get in addition to. And that's another thing. We need to expand the court. If we do get the White House, the Senate, and the House in 2028, I think we need to really push hard to expand the court. And I hope whoever we get in there as president in 2028 has some fucking balls. It isn't this mamby pamby. I love Joe Biden. I love Obama. But we need some more. We need someone a little more ballsy. And even if that means voting for a woman, I think Kamala Harris had bigger balls than a lot of uh, Democrats we've had in there. So I mean, whoever's in there though, we need to go after these Republicans. We need, for one thing, we need to see some people get charged with a lot of things. All this ICE stuff. Christy Nome, I'm talking to you. We there's a lot and a lot of others. We need to see heads roll. And I figuratively, that's a figure of speech. But we need justice there, and we need um, to do things like expanding the court. None of this mamby pamby bullshit. None of this mamby pamby incrementalism bullshit. I'm all for incrementalism. I mean, I understand that, but we've got to make up for lost time. So if we get power back in 28, and we've got the numbers to do it, we need to do some shit. We need campaign finance reform. We need to get money out of politics. We need to overturn Citizens United. We need to expand the court. I think expand them to 13. Expand to 13. And let the Republicans can cry all they want. Boo fuckity who. Expand it to 13. That's that's all I got to say about that. Let's see who else we got in here. Who's in here? We got just looking down here. Squirrel Girl with a $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much. I think we made the goal, you guys. I'm yapping. Yippee! Thank you so much. We made the goal. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. Big Cook says National Health Service is revered by Brits. They would never give it up and storm Parliament if anyone tried to end it. Yeah. Susie Jones, I'm very tired, but I wanted to pop in and say hi, boost the algorithm, so I'm going to bed now. Thank you, Susie. Go nighty night. I'll be back on at 9 a.m. So get some rest, and you can come back in the morning. In the morning. I'll see you in the morning. See you in the morning. Susie Jones, is this just running in portrait tonight? Yeah. I probably won't do it again. I probably won't do that ever again. Um, Michelle's here. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. Michelle says, I think, oh no, says 90,000 for my last stay. Insurance paid 60,000, so I owe 30,000. See, and then the motherfuckers don't even pay for the whole thing, and then they put you on the hook for 30 grand, like we just got 30 grand laying around. You know, it's bullshit. That is some bullshit. Susie Ann Jones says, I still brought home more antibiotics and 5 more days on top 7 days. Well, I hope you get well soon. So there's DPD. Yippee! Thank you so much. I'm just now scrolling down to him. Thank you, DPD, for that $10 super chat. Put it in the swear jar, TJ. Did I swear? Was I swearing? I don't even remember. Fuck, I don't even remember swearing. Anyhow, Big Hook couldn't argue with that one. Squirrel Girl. Michelle says, vote blue, stay true to America. James says 25 watching, 25 thumbs up. Woohoo! Yeah, look at there. We are acting like pretty good Democrats tonight. I see 26 watching with 28 thumbs up. So we do have a bit of a surplus there. So thank you very much for acting like good Democrats. John Glad says, according to Christ, we should feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, give aid to the sick, create a civilized society. Jesus was a good dude, man. He was a good dude. He was right on, man. Michelle says definitely a national holiday. Yeah, and I don't, hey, DPDs, you're entitled to your opinion about the making voting um, mandatory. I guess there are a lot of people that feel that way. I just don't. There's just something about it. I just don't like the idea of making it mandatory. But I do think making it a national holiday, it would, at least would put that voting day a little more, in people's minds. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It might be a complete flop, but at least we'd have a holiday. It should be a federal holiday, a federal fucking holiday. I guess would it be a flota? Would it be a floater? Was the first Tuesday of every November would be this holiday, even though we only really do it every 2 years. I guess you could make it every 2 years. I don't know. Who says it has to be an every year holiday? You could make it an every 2 years holiday. Every even year, I guess. And here is Brooklyn with a $2 super chat. Brooklyn, yippee to you, TJ, all the way. Thank you, Brooklyn, and IB YouTubing $2. Yippee to IB YouTubing. Boot Republicans out, absolutely. And I think that's what made us the goal. Thank you, guys. Another yippee for the goal. We made a goal tonight. Look at there. You guys are awesome. DPD says, I think it's a start, but I know we can't go on like this. And what country would ever want to deal with us if every 4 years or 2 years we end up with a buffoon as president or a feckless Congress? Well, yeah, I think Trump has really, having Trump twice now. Yeah, we've lost a lot of confidence, or having people having confidence in us. Other countries, yeah, we're losing respect. We're losing credibility. We're losing trust. Uh, it's probably all gone right now. There probably is no trust in America right now from other countries. Um, and if we keep going this way, if in 2028 we elect another Republican and we don't have the House or the Senate or whatever, it's pretty much over at that point. It'll be the United States of America in name only. You know, Big Hook says mail-in ballots for everyone and reduce the chaos. Confirm ballot receipt and vote counted with your choice. National Day Off sounds nice, but gives the fuckery opportunities with defective machines. Um, I don't know. I don't understand that last part. Having a national day off. Okay, it would be a day off, except for the people working in the polls. Okay, they would have to work, and the people working the machines. Okay, you pay them holiday pay, then fuck it. Petrazi, hey Petrazi, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Coming on in. Petrazi, are you at work? Don't you work nights or something? Get that night shift, something like that. A little something like that. A little something like that. Danny Berry Sports Highlights. Hey, Danny Berry Sports Highlights. Good to see you. Dodgers lost today. God damn it. Like, they lost 2 out of 3 to fucking Marlins, I believe, right? Let's see. I'm just scrolling on down. Gabstar says hello. Gabstar86. Hello, Gabstar86. Um, DPD says I found a chunky little kitten today, and he's mine, I guess. Yeah. Petrozzi says I'm off tonight and tomorrow. Oh, all right. Enjoy your days off. Enjoy those days off. But I mean, we've been fighting. I'm 65 years old, and we've been fighting these things just back and forth. It seems like one step forward, 2 steps backwards, which means we're going backwards. Maybe it isn't quite that. I don't know. We have gone backwards. I mean, when you think about uh, Jimmy Carter putting solar panels on the White House, and then Reagan coming in and taking him down. If Jimmy Carter had a second term, yeah, I mean, I hate playing this game because it makes my brain hurt. But of all the woulda, shoulda, couldas, if Al Gore had won, just going back to that, let alone going back to Carter, or even going back to sometimes I go back to JFK. If JFK hadn't been assassinated, how different might things be, you know? But just going back to Gore, just going back to 2000, if Gore had won instead of Bush, there would probably be no 9/11. There might have been an attempt, but I have a feeling that Gore would have read his presidential daily briefings, and he wouldn't have a bunch of buffoons in his cabinet. So I bet you 9/11 wouldn't even have happened, for one thing. And I think we would have really, because Gore's really into the environment and into green renewable energy and all that kind of stuff. Just going back to that, that's 26 years now. It's a quarter of a century. If we had elected Gore for 2 terms and then kept it up with, I don't know if Obama, because once you change history, who knows how it would have been. I don't even know if Obama would have ran. I don't even know if anybody would have even known who Obama was. The reason people know who Obama was is because of a DNC speech he made, I guess, in was it the 2004 campaign or of John Kerry? I don't know, but anyhow, the point is if we could have just went from Clinton to Gore and then to maybe Obama or whomever, and we just kept the Democratic run going, and in Congress, shit, we'd be like the Jetsons right now. We'd all have our own little cleaning maids and little flying cars, and it would all be green renewable powered. We'd be so far advanced right now. We would probably still, uh, I don't know. Who knows? We can get kind of go down that rabbit hole of the woulda, shoulda, coulda. So, but here we are now. We're here, and here's where we are. So we got to just pick up, learn from our past, learn from our mistakes, and try not to repeat those mistakes. And we for the love of God, people, would you stop electing fucking Trump and assholes like Trump, please? Stop listening to Fox News. Stop listening to the right wing propaganda. For the love of God, um, let's let's get a good run. Let's get a few decades of just good democratic policy, and you know, let's get off of the fossil fuel teat. We wouldn't care about the Strait of Hormuz if we were running our cars off of renewable energy. If we were running the majority of our power grid off of renewable energy, we could tell Iran, and we could tell OPEC and all those Saudis, we could go tell them to take a flying fuck. But again, just like the healthcare industry has buildings full of lobbyists and lawyers, so does the fossil fuel industry. That's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against that big money. But we've got the people. We just got to get the people to come together. That's why we do things like No Kings. It's like we're going to try this national strike on Friday. That's why we had Occupy Wall Street and the 99% movement, because the 99% of us, if we could all get on the same page, work together, then all the fossil fuels money, all the healthcare industry's money, all the oligarchs' money wouldn't mean shit. It wouldn't mean shit. If we can get together, if we the people can get together in a common voice and say we want fucking national health care. We want to get off of fossil fuels and get into renewable energy, because we're tired of being dependent upon the fossil fuel industry and all their manipulation. That's what OPEC does. That's what our refineries, our oil companies here do too. They all do it. They have the oil spigot. They control the flow. They control the prices. Let's get off of that. Let's get into the renewables. DPD, I will never understand why Gore did not challenge the decision. I think because he knew that it was a losing case. I mean, that the Supreme Court was already, you know, they weren't going to change their decision. So it was a losing battle, I believe. I mean, I think he saw that it was just gonna, it was just gonna be a losing battle, and he didn't want to drag the country through it. The guy had some, this is when politicians had, um, I know they cared about the country. Like, he didn't want to drag the country through what was probably going to be a losing battle. I think if he thought he had a good chance at winning, then he probably would have. But the deck was stacked against him. You know. Petrozzi says, "I just hope DJT doesn't bankrupt our country." He's given it a good try. With all this talk about how Republicans are supposed to be so fiscally conservative, um, why are you voting for Trump? And he spends his money, wants to spend money on stupid bullshit. Just like he wanted to build the wall, and he said Mexico would pay for it. Mexico didn't pay for shit. whatever parts of the wall he did build, that came out of taxpayer money. Now it's the ballroom that was supposed to be all financed by private uh, donations. Now they want $400 million. Fuck you in your stupid room, your ballroom. Fuck you, man. But they care more about that shit than they care about feeding kids or getting health care for people. They're sick. They're sick. You got a nice troll in here. Got a nice troll. That's probably good for the algorithm. We got a troll in here. Frosty does stuff. I'll address this. Says we could all be on electric, but the rest of the world would still run diesel and coal. That's not true. The rest of the world is moving on. You stupid fuck. The rest of the world is ahead of us. We're the ones that are behind. The rest of the world is moving on. Europe is moving on. We're the ones that are being left behind. The market would be completely untapped by America, and we couldn't get paid. Wouldn't get paid. Uh, those are arguments that I heard 20 fucking years ago. Why don't you update your fucking arguments? You're using old 20-year-old Rush Limbaugh fucking mentality. Big Cook says Gore did win. Yeah, he did win. They counted those votes in Florida after the fact, and found out that Gore did win Florida. But anyhow, Big Cook says Gore did win. Jeb Bush removed 50,000 black voters, sharing the same names with convicted felons in Texas. Republicans always cheat. Greg Palast proved it. Greg Palast does a lot of good work, but he also uses. You got to be careful with Greg Palast. Sometimes he uses outdated information too. I think. Agot Twitler, you don't think Black Lives Matter? Talking about this troll here. Frosty says, no kings, and they all cheered and kissed up to an actual king. Come on, bruh. What king did they kiss up to? What are you smoking, man? And pass it around, you know. Don't sounds like you're on some good shit, man. Don't bogart that shit, man. DPD says, did anyone hear that Orange Pedophile wants to stamp his face on everyone's passport commemorating the 250th anniversary? WTF, have if you have one, please update it now. This is taking effect this summer. I don't have one. Mine lapsed like 10 years ago. I've been wanting to get one though. Um, Frosty does stuff. This stuff is just TDS up in here. Well, if you can't see that Donald Trump is a complete buffoon and an idiot and a moron and a cheater and a grifter and also, by the way, a pedophile and a rapist, then you, my friend, like I said, you're smoking some good shit, and you should probably share it with me. Not that I smoke anything, but metaphorically, I don't know. Petrozzi says, I think those who worship DJT have TDS. Not here. Don O'Leary says, "You know who suffers from DJT syndrome? You're right, MAGA. You love him. What would you do without him?" Um, and even some of the MAGAs are falling away. Even some of those maggots are not happy. Donald Trump has the lowest approval ratings, and I think in the history of approval ratings. Um, I'd be YouTubing King Charles. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think if that he was talking about King Charles, Trump is the one who allowed that visit. So I don't even know what he's talking about. But that's because he's an idiot. Just like most of these trolls and most of these Trump humpers they're just morons. So DPD says the orange pedophile is hell bent on the Epstein ballroom bunker because he has no intentions of leaving office. He plans on living there. We need to prepare for that day now. Um, you know what? Let him stay down there. Just seal it up, and he's going to run out of fish delights, and we'll just carry on. We'll just our new president will just be up on the above ground. Trump can stay in his little bunker. That will be his prison. We'll seal it off, and he won't get anything in there. You know, we'll just pull the plug so he doesn't have any power, and he can stay in his little tomb. That'll be his tomb. DPD says, yeah, like Fetterman talking trunk derangement syndrome. We are all traumatized by motherfucker. Put that in the swear jar or whatever. Petrozzi says, I'm waiting for when that orange doo doo gets booed everywhere. He won't be able to show his mug and Melania. And I was kind of thinking of that today when I was watching Liberal Dan, and he was showing the Obama uh, video and stuff. And I was just thinking about, Obama is going to go down in history, and I think will be thought of in loving terms. So will Biden. Biden and Obama both will be looked at fondly and with love, and even the right wingers will. They probably won't love him, but they'll just probably have no comment or no thought about it or whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, boss? Um, but for the rest of us sane people, we will just really always, and I think in general across the world, across the globe, Obama and Biden will be looked at in just sort of loving terms, and will be looked at fondly. And Trump, on the other hand, will be uh, probably, for one thing, will be forgotten. And then whenever his name does come up in history, will be looked at unfavorably. Certainly for the first, couple decades after he goes, uh, he'll be looked at with either hatred or it won't be positive. Whatever it is, Trump will not have any warm, loving memories of him. Almost everyone, except for the maggots, but eventually they'll just forget him because they don't want to they won't want to remember him. But for the rest of us, Trump will just be a real someone that it'll be a good riddance type of a thing, and there'll be no good thoughts. But Obama and Biden I think, will always be thought of in very warm terms. Um, Big Cook says Trump's strategy is to make voting too expensive to drive to do by making gas $10 a gallon. That could be. I don't know if I don't know. If Trump thinks that far ahead. I think that Jolie says that was no fun. I thought you'd enjoy playing with the troll. I didn't do any. I didn't do that. I did not. I did not. I didn't do anything to the troll. Um, Jolie says that was fun. It says you did it. What? So why is Jolie saying? Well, that was no fun. I thought you'd enjoy playing with the troll. Well, maybe I didn't play enough, and that's why you hit it. I don't know. I was sort of playing with them. I thought. Um, yeah, Petrozzi says if he traps himself in the bunker, we'll just seal it. Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was saying. Egal Twitler says Fetterman is testing the waters for a party switch, and Republicans will lie and say they will vote for him, but he would never win a MAGA primary. Just as long as he doesn't switch before this term is up. Once his term is up, then he can do whatever he wants, and I hope I think he's not going to win. He's not going to win. I don't think he'll. I think he'll get primaried if he stays a Democrat, and if he goes to the Republican side, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he'll win that either. So, but who knows? Um, Jolie's been hiding these, and this one says "cry more." I don't know who. No one's in here. No one's crying. I don't think anyone's crying. I mean, we're just talking. I'm just talking. I guess whenever you to these uh, to these maggots and these Republican morons or whatever, if you have a difference of opinion, they call that crying. So I don't know. They're just weird. DPD says, "I sincerely hope that's true, TJ." I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to go if he goes into this bunker, and I said, "I'm not coming out." Okay, you stay down there then. What's he going to do down there? I mean, I guess he's going to have all kinds of control panels, and he's going to be hooked up to the bomb or something. I think there's ways we can just unplug the power or something. Cut the power to it or something. I don't know. DPD, what did you have for dinner? I had a grilled cheese sandwich. I had a grilled cheese sandwich and potato chips and a Coke. Healthy, right? Julie says, I just went ahead and blocked him because you didn't rant at him. Well, I was keeping it cool. I was keeping it cool. The reason I didn't is because, I guess the reason I didn't is because that's what they want. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to feed the trolls, but then sometimes, I interacted a little bit with them. Uh, Petrozzi says Fetterman is an odd man. And again, he had a stroke, right, or aneurysm or whatever the fuck he had, and it really fucked him up. I guess. Um, I guess maybe worse than we thought. I don't. But again, I think he's better than Doctor Oz. If Oz had won, and I think that he still votes. I think. Um, let's see. Um, my thing here. Let's see. I'm going to look this up once and for all. Okay. I'm going to just type in here. How often does Fetterman vote with the Democrats? Um, let's see. I really don't like my iPad. Okay, here we go. Now, this is lower than I thought. According to this search I just did, I guess this is AI. I don't know. It says voting record overview. According to Fetterman himself, he aligned with the Democratic Party 91% of the time, meaning that over 9 out of 10 votes, in the Senate match, the Democratic caucus position, while he occasionally crosses party lines on specific issues such as appropriations or government shutdowns. Um, so that's according to Fetterman. Um, but then it goes on to say party unity metrics. Data from congressional reporting shows that Fetterman's party unity for 2023 and 2024. So this is back when Biden was president, ranged from 74 to 83%, showing a consistent but occasionally flexible alignment with Democratic positions. These variations often correspond to votes on budget matters and bipartisan legislation. And to me, that's too low, I think. I mean, that seems too low to me to be like 74 to 83%. But I don't know, maybe not. Because, maybe it depends on what it is. But bipartisan and key votes, Fetterman has supported some Republican-backed measures on funding and confirmation matters while dissenting from the majority Democratic stance, particularly on procedural bills or Republican-sponsored amendments. That's from CBS News, apparently. Roll call data from the 119th Congress record over 100 individual votes, with the majority reflecting Democratic positions, but with notable exceptions and high-profile bipartisan efforts. Context and interpretation. While party line voting percentages offer a quantitative measure, they do not capture all dimensions of legislative behavior. Fetterman may vote across the aisle for strategic, procedural, or constituent-focused reasons without abandoning his Democratic affiliation. Analysts note that occasionally casting votes outside the party consensus is common among senators seeking to balance ideological and practical considerations in a closely divided Senate. It's also from CBS News. In summary, Senator Fetterman is generally aligned with the Democratic Party, maintaining a high degree of party loyalty while exercising occasional independence on selected votes. This alignment makes him one of the more consistently Democratic voting senators, yet not strictly rigid in his legislative decisions. So I'm going to read that sentence again. This alignment makes him one of the more consistently Democratic voting senators, yet not strictly rigid in his legislative decisions. And I'll just add there are times when you can cross party lines. I mean, if there is a good compromise to be made, if it is a good, I mean, aren't we always looking for bipartisan um, support? Now I realize that there's poison pills. There are things that Democrats should not, cross the line for. But all this stuff about like the Republicans are saying that they're always saying that they're blaming us. They're blaming Democrats for them not getting things done. But that's on them. That's on the Republicans refusing to to even make any compromises. So anyhow, again, I'll just say it again. I think that Fetterman is better than having any Republican in there. DPD says, "Is it possible for a stroke to turn someone into an asshole?" I think if you watch House Sparks and he has that Doc, what's that Doc Adams guy? I think that Doc Adams guy said that, or somewhere I heard it somewhere that, or maybe it wasn't a stroke. Maybe he was talking about dementia because they talk about that a lot with Trump. So maybe it wasn't a stroke. Maybe it was dementia can turn people into assholes, whereas they don't have a filter, type of a thing. So I don't know about the stroke. I don't know about the stroke. I don't know. And Jolie says 100% DVD. It's very common for strokes to change someone's personality completely. Maybe I did hear that from Doc Adams. Big Hook says much of the same way Tim Kaine does to protect the federal workers in his state. So yeah, I mean, there are sometimes when you kind of go against your own party, or you might cross the aisle, and it's as long as it's not one of those like kind of a poison pill type of thing, you know, that would go against really like platform positions, then I sometimes you got to make those kind of compromises. uh DPD says as soon as Fetterman traveled to the pedophile playground, he was lost. Yeah, thanks for blocking that one, Jolie. That was a weird one. Anyhow, Big Hook says Tillis disappointed us by agreeing to vote in the new Fed nominee of Trump. Don O'Leary says Big Hook, hello, and all the, I guess, Republican Minnesota will vote with the chemical companies for no recourse for our farmers dying of cancer. Well, that's what Republicans do. They don't give a fuck about that, about people dying of cancer for any reason, I don't think. Big Hook, never trust a Republican no matter how ethical they are on one common issue. They always take the payout eventually. Big Hook says, yeah, Don, the glyphosate cancer stuff Allowment is sickening. Republicans are inhumane monsters. DPD says Fetterman is for handing Netanyahu a blank check. He believes the orange pedophile should have explicit war powers, and nothing is wrong with reaching across the aisle, but the Nazis want to cause pain. Like I said, I still think he's better than a Republican being in there. And when his term comes up, and um, whenever it comes up, I think he's in there till 2028. Um, primary his ass. Come on, Pennsylvania. Just let's primary his ass. If you can get someone that's a good dim and has a good shot of not only winning the primary but winning the general, I don't know if Pennsylvanians are, you know, are such Fetterman fans that they can't get somebody else in there. I haven't seen any polling about that or anything, so I don't know. James Harmio, I don't think I'm seeing all the messages. Am I wrong? Make sure you've got your setting to all messages and not just top messages. Big Cook says, I bet you Trump offered Tillis FEMA funds for his state. Whenever you're dealing with Trump, make sure you get it up front. Donald Trump is not someone to be trusted for anything. If you're going to do any work with that motherfucker, I don't care if it's for in private business or whether it's in government, you better get it up front. Get payment ahead of time. Tell him I want it now. You pay me first, or have no deal, motherfucker. Donald Trump has ripped off so many people. You would think people would have learned that you cannot trust the motherfucker. You get everything up front, not half, not a promise to pay after services are rendered or whatever. No, up front, bitch. DPD says, my husband and I have decided that we will no longer donate our time or money to any Democrat that takes APAC money or tech money. Fuck them all. And if you can, try to make sure that they know that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, if there's ever an opportunity to let these representatives know, like, why you're not donating to them, let them know it's because you take APAC money or tech money, and we don't like these tech bro oligarchs. We don't like Elon Musk and all his bullshit. And we don't like what fucking Netanyahu is doing and killing all these people, all these Gaza Palestinians and Lebanese and all this shit. We're sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of our money going to supporting that motherfucker. Let them know if you can. I mean, I know it's not always easy to get the message through, but if you can, if you have the opportunity, let them know. James says, I can't see where that can be changed in the vertical. I don't know what to tell you, James. I don't know what device you're on. I don't know how your buttons look. Um, I know on my iPad there's like a little gear. Do you have a little gear thingy? And then you can push that maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Just look around for the gear and see what happens if you click on it. Big Hook says, remember the private funds for the ballroom? Bet you just promises with no checks. Well, now they're asking for 400 million, so apparently they didn't get enough money from the private funds. Johnny, Joe, Troll Slayer says Johnny froze. Am I frozen? That might be on your device because on all my three, I have three devices running, and it looks like I'm not frozen on any of them. So you might need to refresh your on your device. Um, Big Hook, I can't find it either, James, to make it all messages on this vertical setup. You don't have the gear, a little gear thing somewhere, somewhere. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, if you can't see all the messages. I probably will never do vertical again. I just thought I would try it for shits and giggles. No gear. There's no gear. No little gear. I don't know. Sorry about that. Don O'Leary said hi. Hi, Don O'Leary. DPD says, not to mention they want to force people who have dual citizenship to choose. So this means my husband may have to choose. It's bullshit. It's some bullshit. Yeah, it's just one thing after the other. Talk about getting exhausted. That's why we're so exhausted. It just never ends. It's attack from all angles, all sides. It never fucking ends. It's exhausting, isn't it? And I've been hearing so many people say, I miss Obama, I miss Biden. Because we didn't have this shit going on every day. Every time we turned around, something was happening. You know? And I think that is a strategy too, wearing us down every day. Some attack from some other, front, back, sideways. There's just always some sort of something going on. We don't get a moment's rest. They're just wearing us down. Socrates was here. I won't rage bait you. You are cool and stand for a good reason. Okay, take care yourself. There, Socrates. Don't drink any poison or anything. Um, Squirrel says if you're on your phone, there are three dots. Try the three dots. Yeah, at the top on the right. Click it, and you can see where to change the message to chat filter. Yeah, Jolie says click on the three dots, scroll down, chat filter, click all messages. You got three dots. The three dots. Click on the three dots, says Squirrel Girl. Okay, so thank you, Squirrel Girl, because they found it. They were able to find it, thanks to Squirrel Girl. Um, here's another maybe troll, possible troll alert, troll alert. 007 Kevin, where are you? Whatever. This dude says no one's saying they miss Sleepy Joe. How do you know? I mean, that's not true because I've heard people say it. You calling me a liar, motherfucker? Um, but that's a troll thing. So I just watered that troll. DPD says TJ, I emailed Greg Landsman to let him know the exact reason why my husband and I were not voting for him. I made sure to include APAC and his ties to Les Wexner. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you did that. And hopefully he'll get the message. Yeah, these Democrats, they need to know why. If they're pissing off their constituents and they're not going to get campaign funding and support and vote and being voted for, yeah, let's let them know why. Maybe they'll change their ways. Petrozzi, DJT is so exhausting. Yeah, that's what I meant by like every day there's something new. Yeah. Jesse Tesseract says, "I miss Joe." So there, so there, pack ass the uplander, pack asso the uplander. So there, Jesse Tesseract, Mrs. Joe. Jolie says, "I miss Joe." DPD says, "I miss President Biden." Miss President. So there, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Trolley. Um, Squirrel Girl says, "I miss Joe Biden, a true caring, kind man as a president." Big Hook says, "Empathy is missing." DJT, Biden had empathy in spades. Yeah, Trump is a fucking sociopath. He has no empathy. It's not in him. There's not 1 ounce of empathy, sympathy, caring, concern for any other human being than himself. He's a fucking stone cold sociopath. He's a psycho sociopath. And that's why when he leaves this mortal coil, people will cheer, people will drink, people will have parties in celebration of that man's passing. And that's not a good thing for him. That's not, you know. Um Unanimous 556. I won't be voting because I'm not a moron. You're off to a good start there, just sounding like you're a moron. You're off to a real good start. I want to thank the trolls for coming in, by the way. It helps us get out in the algorithm because that gets us up to 24 people watching. What's this horse shit about trolls helping us get out in the algorithm and get people to see the show? I think that's a bunch of bullshit because we got all kinds of trolls in here and we only got 24 people watching. I thought getting us out in the algorithm and getting us seen more, that I thought that meant, like 1 million people would come in. I'm just kidding around. I'm just kidding around. Welcome, trolls. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. As long as you don't say, really stupid, horrendous, horrible shit, you can come in here. Like, one person called me something. I forget. I don't care. Um, Jesse Tesseract says they'll never recreate Dark Brandon, and it drives them nuts. Big Hook. Then it's unanimous that you truly are a moron. Um, you know, again, voting. DPD and we disagree on this. I think voting is a choice. I mean, I think it's I believe, I don't care what anyone says, I believe it's a right as a U.S. citizen. We have the right to vote. But I do think it's a choice. I don't think it should be forced upon us. If you don't want to vote, I think you don't have to vote. Um, but then again, I'm always trying to. I want high turnout. I want everyone to register. I want everyone to vote who's eligible to vote. Um, but also, I think it should be a choice. If you don't want to vote, then you don't have to vote. But I would like to. I'd like to get people involved in voting in a positive way. And I think having a national holiday, a federal holiday, would be a way that would make voting something. It would put voting more maybe top of mind. It would put voting in sort of a maybe a positive light. If it was a federal holiday. But At the end of the day, if you don't want to vote, I don't think you should be forced to vote. Whether that makes you a moron or not, I think there's probably other things going on that would put you in that category of being a moron or not. Uh, DPD, we must never become apathetic or apathic. I think you meant apathetic. But anyhow, I get you. I get you. Yeah, uh, voter apathy is not good in a democracy, especially. Yeah, voter apathy is not good, and I think having a national holiday, federal holiday for our voting day, I think would be a positive thing. And you know, that's how I feel. Troll says John Troll is blocked. Alrighty. Um, big wait, or oh, I guess is this Troll? Is this Kevin saying this? I'm trying to figure out who posted this. Um, you guys are calling out Israel and Trump, but not realizing Israel funds both parties, so you might as well be playing in a Israel circus at this point. Rethink your words. See, the icon is like black, so I guess that's unanimous 556. Okay, so that okay, it's hard to see it. So unanimous 556 is the one who posted that. Okay. Uh, I, what makes you think that we don't realize? That's what we're talking about. APAC. We realize that there are both Republicans and Democrats that get campaign funding. I mean, so you just you're just not paying attention to what we're saying. There are many people that say the reason that Kamala Harris lost is because she wouldn't make a hard enough stand against sending money to Israel. I think we're aware of the situation there, dude. So why don't you rethink your words? Big Hook says APAC funding accounts for 1% of their reelection funds, and Dems can be pushed into implementing social policies the public wants. The same can't be said of the Republicans. APAC is not relevant. Well, so there's that. And it is, I'm sure if we held a chart up and we saw funding going like APAC or the funding going to Republican candidates or Republican office holders, uh, comparing to Democratic ones, it would be like a really tall number, a high number for the Republicans, and a very small number for Democrats. The chart would go down like this. DVD, they need to include civics classes. How many individuals don't understand we have three branches of government? I don't know. That's a good question. I just thought everyone knew that, but I guess not. I don't know. Truth hurts. White lives better. Wake up. Who was it that used to always play? Was it Norman Goldman or somebody? Used to have this white hick racist son of a bitch. and he would play some of his audio, and he'd be like, "Wake up, white people," and then I think he would throw some N words around, probably, white libs better wake up. What? You want us to be woke? You saying we should be woke? Big Hook says, I don't like Schumer or Jeffries, but they get shit done when pushed. They can't just ignore their caucus. Voting Democrat makes options available, whereas Republicans only do what billionaires tell them. Yeah, I agree. I think that it is a bit of a um, conundrum in a way, like as far as receiving, you know, campaign funds. I think if we could, we would like to get money out of politics and just have like campaigns be publicly financed and get the money out of it. But in the meantime, many Democrats find themselves in a hard spot because in the meantime, since we don't have those laws, we don't have campaign finance reform, you need to keep up with the Republicans, and so you might get some money that someone might go, hey, what are you doing getting money from this group for? Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to win an election right now. I mean, it is a bit of a conundrum. You know, um, James Harmio says, "How the fuck does Israel fund both parties when we send them money?" Well, I think he was talking about APAC or Israeli or groups that are representing Israeli interests. You know, I guess Um, yeah, just says put your face above the comments and your picture. I normally don't do this vertical, Jesse, I guess. Um, and I don't really want to mess with my camera because I was messing with it earlier, and then the whole thing started falling. And I apologize. This isn't my normal setup. I usually don't do it this way, and I truly am afraid to even touch the camera right now, the phone and the stand. I'm afraid it'll just collapse. So I apologize. I know it's not the best setup, but now would you even be on here if I was doing this horizontally? Because I think you're a new person. I don't think I've seen you before, and there are some people that they don't like the horizontal one. But anyhow, yeah, I'm afraid. Just to let you know, I'm kind of afraid to even touch anything on here right now. Um, you know, so I guess it's just going to be that way for tonight's show. Person says I am confused. Person E1C. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? I think we're all a little confused. Stingray Beach says redistricting going to be a red wave. Well, unfair, redistricting, unfair gerrymandering. That's what Republicans, they love to do that because they really do have to cheat in order to win. If they can't cheat, they can't win. Um, we on the other side, we on the Dems, we are trying to do some redistricting just to try to fight fire with fire. Again, it kind of comes back to the thing about what I was talking about with campaign financing. We would all love to have, or at least I would maybe, and I think a lot of people would love to see money, get money out of politics. But until we do that, we have to take money, or the candidates have to take money to run their campaigns. And with this redistricting and the gerrymandering, again, the Republicans are all about doing it unfairly. So it's like an unfair distribution. They want to pack all, Democrats into one district and then spread out all the other districts. So then they'll have, 10 Republican districts and one Democratic district. Whereas if it was done more fairly, and there might be more Democrats in that whole state, but they put them all in one or two districts. So all that packing and cracking and all that stuff. And if Republicans didn't do that, they would be losing most of their elections. So it's all about Republicans cheating. They can't win consistently without cheating. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, boss? Big Hook says, funny because Mamdani is getting it done. In New York, he is using constituent pressure on Hochul and getting free daycare so people can work. Dims can be pushed, but Republicans have other masters. Master! Stingray Beach, Vance Miller, 2028. Wouldn't that be something? That might be their ticket. That might be their presidential ticket. You'd have what is Vance? I know Miller's a Nazi. Miller's a fascist Nazi. I guess we could Vance is probably that too, but Vance is like I don't know, tech bro oligarch wannabe, and Miller would get the Nazi fascist support. Vance would get the oligarch bro tech support or something. DPD says Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever the fuck his name is, has the nerve to run and stating he will go hard on child predators. I wonder, will he start with his own party first? Yeah, it's kind of like look in the mirror, motherfucker. Not saying that he's one, I don't know, but yeah, look in the mirror or look at your own party. You don't need to go far, Vivek. You don't need to go far. Just look at your own party. Jesse says, I get it. Don't apologize. Stingrays, the thoughts of liberals are lies. Thank you, trolls. Trolls. Thank you, trolls. Thank you, trolls, for being in here. Looks like we got a $5 super sticker from Jackie, 2149. Yippee, Jackie. Thank you so much. So nice of you. Hi there, Jackie. Big Hook says original meaning of Nimrod is hunger, but it was misconstrued via Looney Tunes with Daffy Duck calling Elmer a Nimrod. I don't know what it has to do with hunger, but Jesse Tesseret is just an annoying sparkler. Thank you, Jesse. I'm a sparkler too, and probably most of the reasonable people in here that aren't trolls are also sparklers. So thanks for being here, Jesse. Good to see you. Glad you stumbled upon us, I guess. Jolie says vertical seems to attract a lot of riffraff. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Not hunger, but hunter. Oh, so Nimrod means hunter or something. I don't know. Yeah, I thought Nimrod just meant like like I don't know, doofus or something. Stingray Beach. Dims need illegals. What do we need illegals for? What? Tell me what. Tell me. I know what you're saying. But you tell me. Why do Dims need illegals? Tell me. Don't be shy. Tell me. Just tell me. Unless Jolie blocked you already. I don't know. Oh, because Jared called me a fucking idiot. Hey, I'm not going to argue with that. I might be a fucking idiot. I don't know. I shouldn't. I shouldn't call myself a fucking idiot. I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I should not. I should not go along with that. It's one thing to have self-deprecating humor or whatever, but I probably should not go along with that. DBD says Zoran was able to run a grassroots campaign with no money from corporate donors. Yeah, it's possible. Just like AOC does that, and Bernie, and there's some others. A lot of that might have to do with where they're running. It might not be the case in some other places, but I do think it's more and more possible. I mean, follow their blueprint. Bernie is kind of shown you how to do it, and I think so. That's a good point, DPD. It's a good point. Just like the one on top of my head. Big Hook says Vance is a fascist technocrat-funded slave. Oof. Oof. Stingray Beach, don't call them liberals. They are vindictive bigots. David Horowitz. Is that your hero? Is David Horowitz your hero? That sounds like a bit of projection to me. I think that describes, if not all Republicans, certainly MAGA. David Danny Luck. Hello, David Danny Luck. Good to see you. Says, oh, the weather outside is frightful. Trump's MAGA are so delightful since there's no particular place to go. Let it snowflake, let it snowflake, let it snowflake. Yeah, I remember when the Republicans would call Democrats or liberals snowflakes. Every time, just if we had a complaint or an issue or we didn't agree with them, then we were snowflakes. And then, but God forbid, if they complain about something, they don't like something, and then we say, hey, don't stop being a snowflake. Man, did they act like a snowflake? Jolie says, Trump is a snowflake in chief. David Danny Luck, I've never seen a guy with a more fragile ego. He is a petty little fucking bitch. Old Donnie Trump. Donnie Trump is a little thin-skinned little petty ass little bitch. That's what he goes after Jimmy Kimmel. This whole thing of going after Comey is bullshit, and even Trump knows it's bullshit. He's just looking for any excuse that he can, just to try to. It's kind of weird how they're going after Comey for the 86-47 picture. Comey is a Republican, or at least he was. And as people have mentioned, James Comey may be what really won the election in 2016 for Trump. When he reopened the Hillary Clinton investigation of her server and her emails just a couple weeks before the election. Many people blame James Comey for giving us Donald Trump the first time. Donald Trump should be very grateful to James Comey, in my opinion. He should be licking James Comey's taint. He should be giving James Comey money and women and houses and shit. So it's all performative. It's not going to go anywhere. It's all bullshit. But and the whole thing about trying to say that 86 means that you're going to kill someone, uh, and that this is an example of the violent rhetoric, like I said, coming from the left, when James Comey is a fucking righty. But I was thinking about this 86, and he's trying to say that that's what the mob says when they're going to kill somebody. I'm sure, and I don't have any mob or mafia connections. I don't hang out with mobsters. I've never known any. I don't know anything, but I have watched some movies. I watched every episode of The Sopranos. I had the complete DVD box set of The Sopranos that I had before my house got broken into, and all my DVDs and CDs got stolen, or almost all of them. That was one of them. I've seen all the Sopranos. I've seen the Godfather movies. I've seen Casino. I've seen Goodfellas. I've seen, a whole bunch of other like mob and mafia movies. I really can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone else can reference this. I don't remember them ever using the term 86 to kill someone. They say whack. Yeah, you gotta go whack the guy. They'll say put a hit put a hit on him, whack him. I don't know, grease him, put a cap in his ass. Uh, waste him. Did I already say waste him? I can't remember them ever saying 86 in these movies. Now I know these are movies. It's not real life. I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump runs around with mob guys, and maybe he knows them. I don't know, but it just I was just thinking about that today. I don't remember in all those movies. I can't remember them saying, "Hey, go 86 this guy." I've heard him say, like I said, go, yeah, you got to go whack him, go whack this guy, or yeah, we're putting a hit out on this guy. I can't recall them ever saying using the term 86 to kill someone. So, if anyone else knows of a reference in a movie, let me know, because I can't think of the movie reference. Yeah, Big Hook says liberals want to give a choice that benefits the majority. That's the definition of democracy, and is an anti-racist or anti-bigot practice. Read a book, Stingray, and not just any book. Well, you might be reading the wrong book. Stingray might be. DPD says, does anyone remember when the orange pedophile posted the meme of President Biden being hogtied? Well, yeah, I saw that today on a couple different channels. They were showing it from when he did that, and when I saw that again, then I remembered. Oh yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, but that was like I think that was something that someone had painted or had put on the back of a tailgate, I think, of a truck. I think that's what that was. And then Trump posted that. Hey, they were selling T-shirts and hats and shit when Biden was president that said 8646. And if you were to try to sue them for that, they would probably be saying, we're just talking about impeaching him or whatever. We're not talking about anything else. What are you guys talking about? James Charmio says, exactly, that shit damaged Hillary's image, and still she stomped Trump's ass in the popular vote. Yeah, she still won the popular. It's a stupid electoral college that is outdated and antiquated, and that's another thing. If we ever get power back, now I know making a constitutional amendment is much is very difficult in terms of all the hoops and hurdles you got to go through to do that, and you got to get the state's approval. But I think we need to get rid of that fucking electoral college. Absolutely need to get rid of it. Big Hook says, remember that Trump Tower constructed with mob concrete in New York. Trump is very familiar with the mob. So are you backing him like that? He knows what he's talking about. Then, if he says that the mob uses that term for killing people, I know DPD says 86 is a term they use in restaurants, meaning they have run out of something. I realize that. I realize that. And it's also a term meaning like if you kick somebody out of a restaurant or a bar and you basically ban them from coming back. I've heard that reference also. I got 86th out of a restaurant when I was a young man. I got 86th out of a place in somewhere in Van Nuys or the Valley, I guess. Um, but but Trump is claiming it's a mob term for apparently putting a hit out on someone, I guess. Jolie says, I've never heard the 86 used to mean kill. It's ridiculous. Big Cook says, electoral college is bullshit and is seen nowhere in any legitimate democracy. Jesse Tesseract, my phone die. Sorry to that. I'm sorry to hear that. DPD says they need to stop with the pearl clutching bullshit. Don O'Leary says, I read many mafia books in the 9th grade, never mentioned. What were you doing in the 9th grade reading mafia books? I think I read the Godfather, Mario Puzo. I had a copy of the Godfather. Um, I think I was still like in high school or something. And I don't remember the 86 being used in the book either. Joel Slayer says, Jolie Trump swimming with the fishes, laughing out loud. Yeah, they said that. They didn't say 86. They said, oh, I should know this. What was the big guy that they garroted with, I guess, piano wire, and then tossed his body in the bay or whatever, and then said, what the fuck was that guy's name? They said, I can't remember his name, but they said blah 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 sleeps with the fishes. They didn't say, yeah, we 86'd him. I guess it just wouldn't have the same feel to it. DPD says they need to dig up every golf course and building the orange pedophile has ever owned because I guarantee you will find bodies. Probably, and at the very least, we should exhume poor old uh, Ivana Trump and get in there and see what's in that casket. At the very least. Hey, Christina Sun Go Squad. I just came to say hello, lovelies. It's going to be one in the morning, and unfortunately, I spent half hour trying to figure out why nothing would play on YouTube. Huh. Yeah. I know it's almost 10 o'clock here, and I know for you East Coasters, it's getting late. Um, Jesse Tesseract. Jesse Tesseract says on the TV the text doesn't overlap. Looks good, brother. Oh, thanks. Yeah, on my iPad it has the text way off to the side. Yeah, so it's probably that's the way it is on TV too. Yeah, I got it on my TV too. Yeah, it has the text on the side. It actually makes it easy to read the text because it's like with a black background. But yeah, glad you like it. Big submit overshoes. Yeah, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, submit overshoes, stuff like that. But never 86. Yeah. Grease's son goes 86 is the term used by food places. Yeah, yeah, we've gone over that. Uh, about the restaurant references and stuff. Oh, and Gillespie, thanks, Truck and John. You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, anyhow, I guess maybe we'll call it a night. Maybe we should get some rest. I'm going to be back on at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Right here, I'll be horizontal, not vertical. So yeah, concrete shoes. So if anybody wants to join me again in the morning, I'll see you guys then. Thanks for popping in. This was just an impromptu, kind of fun. Maybe on nights if I'm not working, maybe I will do these like after Liberal Dan or something. Just if you guys want to. Seems like a lot of times, guys, people want to hang out and talk some more. So maybe not all the time, but maybe occasionally we'll do some more of these nighttime ones. I kind of like coming on at night. Um, it'll be interesting to see if the next nighttime one I do in horizontal, if we get as many trolls as we did this time. Christina Sangoso says, I think it's crazy. We're having a pretty bad rainstorm, so maybe that's why the internet is acting crazy. But it would play some things, but not the stuff I wanted to watch. That's interesting. Oh, you know what, Big Hook? I have not had a chance to look at Discord yet because I was when you told me that I was watching Liberal Dan, and then I decided to go um, and do this, and I haven't had a chance to do that. I can go real quick though and look real quick and see. Um, you know, you know what I mean. There's um, I just see that you put a link to a couple of these videos, so I'll watch those later. I guess I just see the two links to these videos that you posted. I won't. I'm not gonna watch it right now. So yeah, we'll just wait then. I'll check it out. Um, probably as soon as I sign off, I'll go check it out. Um, unless there was something more. All I saw was the video. Those two videos. So you know. James Hermano, just depends on what hours I work the next day. I'm here when I can be. Hey man, I appreciate all you just being here when you can be here. I know we all have work and we have all the things we do, family obligations, whatever, school, whatever. Um, so whenever you can be here, I appreciate you. Appreciate you hanging out. Um, DPD says, thanks, TJ and Mods. I wish you could retire for good. You deserve the rest, TJ. Everyone have a great evening or morning. Peace out. Peace out, DPD. Hopefully, we'll see you in the morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I guess that's it for today. Now we are in vertical mode, but as far as I know, we can still have Paul the Purple Beard Guy come in here and say hi to everybody. Hello, everybody. How do you like me in vertical mode? I really haven't been in vertical mode all that much, to tell the truth. More of a horizontal guy. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's old Paul. That's old Paul there with his vertical, horizontal, whatever. Hey guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you coming on in. Uh, for those of you who don't know, it's not just Trucker John. All right, there's me. I'm Tough Cookie, and that other guy you saw, that's Paul, the purple beard guy. We like to hang out in here too, every now and then. Just so you know. Okay, we had a couple new faces in here, and you know, I know I'm pretty sure Trucker John would like everyone to subscribe. Trucker John told me to say that. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck if you subscribe or not. What do I care? Thanks, thanks, Tough Cookie. Thanks. I don't know, but yeah, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you for coming on in, and I guess we'll just end it kind of the way I always end my shows, and that's with words of wisdom. So if you want to get your pencil out and your pad out, um, then you can write these down. All right, they're really really good, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. All right. So here's today's words of wisdom. Um, Somewhere. All right, you guys ready?